Doctor, and it's not allowed to be you.
So which is your favourite Dr. Silvester, but it's not allowed to be you?
Well, could I say the one that was just before me, Doctor number 6.5? Think about that. Because that was me. I could sneak in that way. My favourite doctor was Patrick Troughton. He was the first one I saw, way back in the 60s. He got me hooked on Doctor Who for a little while. I became unhooked when I became an actor and had to go off. We didn't have means of recording. We found this unbearable, but we couldn't record anything. And it was only ever put on once and never repeated. So I missed lots of Doctor Who, halfway from Tom Baker right up until Silvester McCoy came along. I hadn't seen any Doctor Who. And even when I watched the one with Silvester McCoy in it, I used to hide behind the couch when I came on.
Who's next with a question, please? Okay. Right, sir. Your name?
Alex,
Alex, what's your question?
has Davros got unlimited rice pudding yet?
Has Davros got unlimited rice pudding yet?
Well, I hope not. Then there'll be none left for Sophie. We only have rice pudding. I was asked to sign a picture for someone. A couple are getting married, and they wanted something about rice pudding, and I wrote, the secret to a long marriage is unlimited rice pudding.
Okay, who's next? Okay, what's your name?
My name's Tim.
Tim, what's your question?
Well, it's for Sophie and Silvester. Sophie, Silvester, you've done Doctor Who on TV and for Big Finish audio. Which do you prefer, or which is better, TV or audio?
Well, it's very hard to say because they're so different. The two disciplines of TV and audio are, I don't know, but they couldn't be more different really. The brilliant thing about audio is that you can, well, when you're listening to it, obviously you can have that whole world in your mind. And so the scripts are very, very imaginative because you can go anywhere, you can do anything, you can have massive things set in cathedrals or caverns or space stations or whatever, and you don't have to make them out of polystyrene and plastic in the studio. So that's brilliant to do audio, and somehow I love the whole thing of having to distill your acting into just your voice, and you just have to use the whole range of your voice in order to kind of convey what's going on. But then on the other hand, TV I absolutely love as well, because there you are distilling something as well, and you know you've only got, well, we only ever really had time for 1 or 2 takes. If you did something that you knew that you wanted to do it again, you actually had to say a rude word so that they wouldn't be able to use that take. And that was quite a canny little trick I learned.
Yeah, to say ITV.
So you know, you have to, and I love the whole sort of technical thing of having the cameras around and knowing which angle was going to be best to look and work out which camera was on, but not actually looking at it, and I love that whole thing. So, well, long-winded answer to I don't really know. I haven't got a preference. How about you, sir?
Well, no, both of them are great to do, really. Like all our various disciplines, live theatre, television, film, radio, busking. They're all very different, and they all require different disciplines, and it's great fun to try and achieve them and do them. I love radio because I'm 6 feet tall and the sets don't shake. I also love radio because you can get inside the character's mind much more with radio. You can go right into the brain. You can hear actually what the doctor's thinking on audio, radio. Whereas on television, you couldn't quite do that unless you have the doctor speaking, you know, doing a voiceover to actually think what he's thinking inside. Or that's why the companion, in a sense, was there, not only to help to defeat the Daleks, but also to ask or for the doctor to inform from you, through the companion, what he was actually thinking, or had in mind. Whereas an audio, you can do it that way. And I enjoy that journey, because you can get more depth, you know, more mystery into that. Telly's great though. I mean, it's just great fun. Hard work, but really good fun. It's slightly broader brush for telly than it is for film. Film is like painting with one of those Japanese fine brushes, you know, kind of. And you only do a few seconds here, or a minute at the most, or you know, time. Whereas in television, you can actually do 15 minutes of a take with various 5 different cameras and things like that. So they're all very different, but they're all also very much the same because you are acting. And I can't choose. You can't really choose. Some people like or don't like the other, don't they?
Yeah.
But I like them all.
Best way to keep in work. Right.
Both, really. Although I think the challenge is to actually try and play both at the same time. You know, to have that comic thing going, and then suddenly, this toss of a coin, it's on the other side. And to try, you know, it's great fun to try and achieve that, where the audience think, wow, this is, you know, and then suddenly there's this dark thing just arrives suddenly. Great fun trying to achieve that.
Who's got the next question? Okay. What's your name?
Danielle,
Danielle, what's your question?
it's for Sophie. And did you have a favourite adventure as a companion?
Oh, that's a good question. The one I enjoyed doing them all. It was so brilliant, and it was my first experience of TV. So what a fantastic role to have got straight off. It was brilliant. But I think my favourite story of all the ones we did, because Ace had such a lot of different stuff to do in it, was The Curse of Fenris, because it was a story about Ace and about her background and where she comes from and who is she, and it was written by the guy Ian Briggs who kind of created the character in the first place. So the writing was very good, and I think it worked very well as a story. It had loads of lovely elements, like who'd put Vikings with vampires and the Second World War and Ace's background. It was full of brilliant stuff. And then of course it's really for the first time you begin to see the way the Doctor manipulates. That was the first inkling really that you got, that the Doctor actually might not be such a nice guy after all. And that was great fun to play, wasn't it? Doing that, you know, slightly.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on a minute. And it's something that's been taken and run with in the new series, I think. You know, where the Doctor is actually a bit of the controller of things rather than just this nice guy who's going around righting wrongs. So I had to jump in water, I did some very emotional stuff, I fell in love, I seduced a soldier, all sorts of different things. Shouted at him a few times. Yeah, it was a very good Ace story. But then, yeah, there's so many great ones. Survival, Question, Galaxy, Ghostlight was great, wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay, who's got the next?
No. Actually, I can't think of anything. I mean, I'm sure there's hundreds of things you think, oh, I might do that. Oh yes, there is. I wanted to do a silent movie. And I came up with this idea and I suggested to Big Finish, we do a silent movie. And they got very excited about it, and the writer actually, I think, was very excited. And then the BBC came back and said, no, you can't do that because we're going to do one. And they never did. So yes, I still want to do a silent movie on audio. Thank you.
Okay, next question, please. Come over this side. Okay, what's your name, sir? James, what's your question?
Both Silvester and Sophie
what was your best memory of working with John Nathan Turner?
What's your best memories of working with John Nathan Turner?
Oh, I did the parties. He loved the party. That's why the spoons ended up being in Doctor Who. I didn't ask to have them in, but we had a party, and then they all did our party piece, and I brought the spoons out, and he said, "Ooh, we've got to have that in Doctor Who." He was kind of extraordinary man, really. He was kind of at first you'd think there was no depth to the man. He was just all, kind of front and, kind of smooth and charming and all that. But when you get to know him, you realise he knew his subject deeply and was totally committed to it. He suffered greatly because when we took over, there were some fans around who had got too big for the boots and thought that they were running Doctor Who, and they were attacking him because they didn't like what he did. I think that happens to every producer. There's a group of people who just cannot take to them, but they made his life hell. I mean, real hell. And, but he dealt with it with dignity. And yeah, it was. He loved the fans. He loved meeting the fans as well, and going out and discussing and being with them. And he made Doctor Who for the fans. Yeah.
Well, I think it really helped that he was a fan himself as well. So he had a passion for the programme, and he stayed far beyond his sell-by date, really, because without him, the BBC would have got rid of it a lot earlier. He was a champion of Doctor Who when there was no other, really, at the BBC. Yeah. I remember every day we'd be, especially on location, because he'd be either in the gallery. On location, it was great because he would really be supporting the team. I mean, some people used to think that it was kind of being controlling, but actually, he was actually just being very supportive because we had a lot of young new people on our series. We had a lot of brand new writers. We had Andrew Cartmel, who was being script editor for the first time. We had a lot of quite young directors or who were friends of John Nathan Turner's as well. So he was really vitally involved in running a really good ship and making sure that everything was done properly. And actually, it was a real bonus to have him around, looking back. But every day, without fail, on location at 4 o'clock, he'd time for tea and a tart. And we'd go off and have our...
So thank you very much indeed for coming. Thank you very much indeed for your questions. But more importantly, thank you very much to Sil and Sophie.